So by 55, you're already considered a senior by 5 years by AARP. Get your AARP invitation to join at 49.6 months of age. So, but by 55, most people are beginning to think about retirement or have early retired. But most importantly, if you start thinking about how do I want to live as I age, then you'll start looking at your lifestyle and determining what changes or modifications you need to make.
Great. So have you done other centers besides the Lou Walker Center?
Yes, I have. I'm proud that all of the senior centers in Fulton County, Georgia, I assisted in developing all of those, and there are a total of 13 in Fulton County. And then in Clayton County, I worked on a senior fitness center to one of their larger multi-purpose centers, and then consulted on several projects across the nation.
And this particular center has won several awards. Can you tell us about that?
The Lou Walker Center was selected as a best practice in health promotion by, okay. The Lou Walker Senior Center was proudly honored with the best practice distinction by the National Institute of Senior Centers. The National Institute of Senior Centers selected the health promotion program here because of the number of seniors that participated in that program and the fact that we were able to do some pre and post data collection, meaning someone came in and was weighing 200 pounds, and by participating in the health promotion program here, they've seen weight loss, and their doctors have attested to the fact that participating in that program is helping them to live an active and healthy life. So we were honored with that. We were also selected as a distinguished program by the National Association of County Commissioners, NACO, and because of the role that the Commission has played in making sure that this facility became a reality.
And how do you address caregivers in the senior centers that you deal with?
Well,
what kind of support do you give to caregivers?
Well, many seniors, when they walk through the door, they don't really tell you that they're in a caregiving relationship, meaning that they're the caregiver. Many come, and once they come and check out a senior center, and once they feel comfortable that they can share their personal life, they start to tell their story. And when they start telling their story, you start hearing stories such as, I was able to come to the center for 2 hours to take this dance class because a neighbor is watching my husband at home who has Alzheimer's, and I'm the primary caregiver. So going back to my theme, which I really am I'm a big advocate of the corridors of life, and not just providing one aspect of activities in senior centers. That's where the resources come in. And here at the Lou Walker Center specifically, I promoted club development and support groups. So within this safe haven or safe place, the seniors were able to create a support group of their own. So those that were caregivers to loved ones were able to talk with one another, and then professionals were able to be brought in to help to navigate them through resources and making sure that they're taking care of themselves.
So you focused on caregiver programs specifically. Who are seniors who are caregivers?
This particular center didn't focus on caregivers. However, caregiving was one of the main areas that we wanted to make sure we focused on bringing in resources for, because many seniors will not disclose up front that they are a caregiver. So once you build that trust, then creating a support group where they can freely share what they're going through, and with a professional in that, or someone in that support group who can help them navigate through, well, here's my story and this is a resource that I used and it was helpful. You create that trust, and I think trust is so important because a lot of seniors are very, very cautious on who they speak to and who they share their stressors with.
And so is that why they don't share that they're a caregiver, because of trust?
I think trust is a big issue. So building trust, once you build the trust, and then you can start introducing these sensitive topics, such as caregiving. And once you have that, then you become a focal point in a community where other caregivers, whether they belong to the center or not, can participate in either the support group or just connecting with someone else who's in a similar situation.
Talk about, for a minute, the intangibles, the transformation that happens with people in the community as they're able to develop that trust among other caregivers.
To develop trust among other caregivers and the intangibles, the things that you really can't see, are the human relations pieces of it. Seeing someone smile who typically for 2 or 3 weeks never smiled. And you're going, okay, you appear to be happy. Well, they're connected with someone else who's in a similar situation, so now they have someone to talk to. Through all of my travels to senior centers and talking to caregivers, many of them say they don't talk to their own family or friends because no one really understands or gets it. So being around others who are going through the same thing can acknowledge, wow, I went through that with my spouse or the person I'm working with. They're able to share information. They're able to also have someone to call upon when they're in a crisis. Another aspect of caregiving is also making sure, because here at the Lew Walker specifically, we discovered that many grandparents were caregivers to their grandchildren. And that is, in terms of statistics, that is a growing demographic. So we were able to connect the support group here at Lew Walker to the National Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Association. So tons of information and resources were made available. So sometimes it's knowing in a senior center environment, knowing what the needs are, and then making sure you're connecting them to the right organizations who can help them through those crises and situations.
So it sounds like that responding to caregivers' needs is much more important than just creating a program that you think they need.
Most definitely. Creating programs for caregivers has to come from the caregiver. They need to share if you're a program planner, they need to share with you what specifically the needs are, because from one group to the next, the focus and the priority may not be the same, although the general topic areas and needs are the same. So you want to make sure, as you're developing a caregiver program in a senior center environment, that you're meeting people where their need is.
Talk about the Jamie Dukes radio show that's going to be live today here at the Senior Center, and what y'all talk about on the show.
Well, the Jamie Dukes Foundation has a new radio show called Boomtown Talk, and the tagline is, if you're 50 and older, we're talking to you. And the intent of the show is to provide, using radio, providing an opportunity for great information to be delivered to persons 50 and older. We focus on information on Medicare enrollment, how to understand Medicare, and right now we're in a political season, but a lot of people really don't understand Medicare. They don't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. They don't understand when to enroll, and when you enroll, what choices you are able to make. So we spend a lot of time on Medicare. And then one of the main topic areas as the demographics are changing, caregiving. Because a lot of people are in caregiving situations. They may not have the opportunity to go to a senior center. So being able to listen to a radio show where there's no one there but you can listen and be touched and hear from Lee Lambert, who anchors that part of the show, and she can be a resource.
Is there anything specific you think I should say about the caregiver part of the show?
Of the radio show?
Yeah.
You could just kind of mention